Morning, everybody. This is Tim. Happy Friday. Uh, Today is 29th of August, 2025. I woke up to heavy rain occurring in my area this morning. Unfortunately, my pen isn't working, of course. Um, but you see what we got going on here. We have, hopefully, y'all can see my cursor. We got a lot of moisture up here in the northern tier, the northwest, along the intermountain west, with a trough in the east coast. It's been very persistent with, let's just say, perturbations in the flow enhancing the rainfall, and what looks like maybe low pressure developing off the coast here, likely not tropical in nature given proximity to um, a lot of forcing and stuff like that, and maybe something off here at the coast. But had been no mention of any kind of development. But always got to keep an eye out for homegrown systems this time of year. Uh, any time of year really, for the when you have stalled frontal boundaries, which I'll show you on the surface map here coming up. Quickly look at the radar overlaid here. You see what I'm talking about. Moisture streaming up from what's left over of Juliet. Some storms firing off on the front range of the Rockies and along the north of a stalled frontal boundary, enhanced moisture and heavy rain ongoing in these areas. You can kind of make out where the boundary is really when you look at this and that rainfall off the coast there. So when we look at the excessive rainfall, excuse me, the radar using weatherwise here, see where we were showing you a minute ago, the ongoing precip in southeast here, all along the Mississippi, Alabama, um, up into the northeast and out west here in different areas, and off the front range of the Rockies. I'm looking at excessive rainfall outlook as part of that moisture. We have marginal risk in these areas here along the Gulf Coast and the northern high plains and the mountain west, and in the desert southwest. This is till 12Z today. And you can see where it shifts to slight risk into Texas, New Mexico, parts of Colorado, marginal risk only going up in the upper Midwest, high plains, more like the northern high plains here, all along the Gulf Coast, parts of Georgia and eastern Florida. And this would be tomorrow. Marginal risk on the Gulf Coast, again, the east coast of Florida, and in Texas again, and then the front range of the Rockies into Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Iowa. Of course, on the Gulf Coast again, into the desert Southwest, New Mexico, the bullseye here in the middle of the country, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, and day 5, same area here, which isn't unusual with monsoon season, but along the Gulf Coast, again along the Appalachians and in the middle of the country here. Current hazards go, not a lot going on today. We got flood watch and some flood warnings. Uh, so Louisiana, parts of Texas, Four Corners region here. Dense fog advisories, flood watch. Looks like one county out here, or part of one, with flood watch. That's about it for right now. So no heat advisory, at least in the continental U.S. today, which is valid to this morning. So let's move on to the expected daily rainfall totals. Talked about that a minute ago. You can see where the deeper um, colors are here. Purples indicating more rainfall, and greens less, of course. And of course, where there's nothing, there's no precip expected. Northeast, all along the Gulf Coast, up along the front range of the Rockies, the northern high plains, into Canada here. Day two, that's just a little further eastward, but stayed along the Gulf Coast. Tomorrow, a lot of more precipity expected in Georgia and along the Gulf Coast, into Texas, Nebraska, and parts of South Dakota, northern high plains. That's just a little further eastward here and further south, and then like we talked about with the excessive rainfall outlook along the Appalachians here. Of course, offshore, nothing really in the northeast, and kind of the intermountain west gets a break, but it shifts southward into Texas and Mexico. As far as severe weather goes, this is the overlay of the surface boundaries today, um, overlaid with severe weather and thunderstorm chances. And this is the legend over here. Wind and hail threats are the main threats today off the front range of the Rockies. And wind is the most probably water-loaded downdrafts along the Gulf Coast. And you can see what the stalled frontal boundary is here, which is leading to the rainfall that's going on right now. And a stalled frontal boundary along the front range as well as the Rockies, and some surface troughs, some other front up here in the northern tier. So let's move into day two. Day two convective outlook. Not showing any enhanced areas of highlighted areas for severe weather. You still have that stalled frontal boundary. Sorry, stalled frontal boundary on the Gulf Coast, all snaking all the way up into the um, plains, northern high plains, and another frontal boundary pushing southward. Cold front to the northeast, and a stalled frontal boundary in the Midwest here. Take that off. Take that frontal boundary off on day three, which will be Sunday. Still no just general thunderstorm chances again. And see that's cold front pushing to the south. Stalled frontal boundary surface trough along the Gulf Coast, Texas, moving off the front range here, and surface troughs out here. And day 4 through 8, convective outlook, nothing showing up. So that's good news. As far as future radar and temps go, here's what one of the convexity allowing models. Let's go back one. This is for 48 hours. Is showing this is the HRR. You see along the Gulf Coast the most moisture in the high plains, Midwest, Northeast, and out here in the Atlantic Ocean here, and along the Intermountain West. Moving through time, general shower and thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast and Georgia, moving out into see some convection in Texas in the northern high plains, the plains, and other just areas of convection building, especially where we talked about the excessive rainfall here. When we look at the temperatures over the next 7 days, next temps today, 80s and 70s for a good portion of the country, in the except for southern Texas into the desert Southwest. The no temps tonight. You can see here mostly. You can see where there's a boundary here and another boundary like along the Gulf Coast. Deep moisture here. But overall, in the 80s in the desert Southwest, which is, excuse me, I gotta sneeze. No, sorry about that, guys. My allergies are kicking my butt. So next temps tomorrow, 70s, 80s, in the high plains, northern high plains, getting hot, and into the intermountain, the northwest, and the desert Southwest, and again in Texas. But overall, and then the Mississippi Valley, lower Mississippi Valley, warming up some. Min temps still cool in the northeast, along the front range of the Rockies. Moisture is building back in the southeast, so the minimum temps are going to be higher than they have been the past couple days. The max temps again for day 3, which is Sunday. I think Sunday, August 31st, was my oldest daughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Christina. And sorry, I had to stop the video there for a second. Continue. Minimum temps 60s, 50s. Still very, very nice for this time of year. And for Monday, still in the 80s for a good portion of the country. 90s relegated way to the south here, maybe in southern Florida and the desert Southwest. Cooling off again for the southeast, but staying kind of warm in the southern tier in the deep south. Really quite hot in the desert, 89 for a low. That stinks. Nice and cool. I'm going out to Colorado this weekend. Again, like I said, those in the 50s. Gonna be nice. Like, looking forward to it. Northeast is still cool. Again, this is like rinse and repeat, really. This is very unusual this time of year to see highs in the 80s for the southeast. Even in the Texas 90s isn't terrible. Down here, getting kind of hot. But again, I'll take these low temperatures Tuesday. High temps again, 80s, 90s. I mean, I can't complain about these temps. For some reason, it doesn't have min temps. But for day 7, which is Thursday, still warming up some in the south, but still in the 70s, 60s. Good portion of the country. And unfortunately for the Intermountain West and Northwest, it's going to start warming up again, unfortunately. In the high desert, it's interesting climate up here. High desert is not really like desert like sand, but it's quite dry off the leeward side of the Cascades here, and it can really get pretty hot out there. So going on to the local forecast, if I can find it. Here we go. All right, local forecast for today. Mostly cloudy overnight. Well, I hate to say it, but we got some rain. That forecast is not not right now. We got some rain. We'll see if it continues. 10% chance of rain today. High of 82, low 67 tonight. Chance shower thunderstorms overnight. Low 67, high 76 tomorrow. 60% chance of shower and thunderstorms. Moving into Saturday night. Sunday, high of 82 with a low chance of shower and thunderstorms with a low of 66 Sunday night. And Labor Day, high of 82. Hey, I'll take these temperatures. As we go through time, it's rinse and repeat forecast. And then towards the end, we have a front coming through with winds out of northwest at 85 degrees in the period. And when we look at Denver, where I'm going, it's going to be high 80, chance of thunderstorms, showing thunderstorms likely on Saturday. How about that? So when I fly in, it'll probably be raining. The tropics go. The quick update on the tropics. We have 20% chance of a storm developing off the Florida National Hurricane Center 2 a.m. update off the African coast in the next 7 days. And looking at this a little bit closer, this is a nice product I found from the European ensemble, European model. Tropical cyclone activity, including genesis probabilities. I wouldn't put too much credence on these off the South American coast. 5 to 10% chance off the east coast of the U.S., which we know there's low pressure is going to be forming off there. I'm not sure that we'll have a tropical cyclone, and this is initialized today, valid for 72 hours. So this is Monday, initializing on Monday. So go through time here. The deeper green colors indicate higher chances for development. See one out here with this again, slowly. The stall funnel boundary here. And you see these two areas in the main development region. And maybe something along the Central America here. A lot of times I think the models overestimate something happening here, but I would say more likely scenarios we have potential for a couple systems to develop out here in the tropics in the coming days. What does the Google DeepMind and European think about this? I mean, that's what we're just looking at, but I like to show this. Really not showing much of anything right now, going through Monday, and then it does kind of latch on to some stuff here along the eastern coast and this maybe low off of South America. Again, seems like there's a bias towards something out here. I just don't know if that's really going to do anything. East Pacific remains active. They're really not latching on any potential really development other than low pressure, general low pressures out here. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. But right now, the biggest short-term concern would be homegrown activity, which, along stall frontal boundaries, you never know. So we'll keep an eye on that, and also keep on the main development region because it's getting to be a peak time of year for development out there. That's all I got, guys. I hope you have a good day. I hope you got something out of this forecast.